It was the biggest crowd yet. But while thousands of protesters committed to a new Egypt flooded into Tahrir Square one more time, the old regime proved it remains tone deaf. Egyptian Vice President Omar Suleiman, who has Washington's backing in this crisis, said Egypt wasn't ready for democracy. The White House called that statement unhelpful. Out here, it sounded plain unbelievable. We pushed our way through the crush of people jostling to join the protest. Once you pass the checkpoint, a welcoming committee chants, "Come on down to the square." And come they did. First-timers, families with newborns, and even a man in a wheelchair.
2 weeks into these protests, and I've never seen such an enormous crowd trying to get into the square. Just when some observers were saying this movement was losing steam, it's been re-energized in part by the release of the Google executive Wael Ghonim, who was one of the initial online activists of the movement.
Ghonim is a Google executive and one of the original organizers of these protests. He was arrested and held for 10 days. Today, on a makeshift platform in the square, he had a message of solidarity. This is a time for all of us, he tells the adoring crowd. Egypt above all. Over in the tent city, where the hardcore protesters are camping, Ghonim is a role model. He's selfless. He's the man we all want to be, said this protester. Tonight, Ghonim sent out a message on Twitter that read, "Dear Egyptians, failure is not an option." No one knows that better than these exhausted demonstrators.
Do you think if you gave up, the government would come after you and you would all be in danger of being tortured or arrested?
Oh, definitely, they say. And maybe now more than ever, because the government has seen what they can do. Vice President Suleiman has said the government's formed a committee to look at redrafting the Constitution and offer some other concessions like press freedom. But these are very vague proposals, and there is no sign that they cut any ice at all with the opposition. Katie?
And Liz, how long will the government of Egypt tolerate these protesters? And if they don't, how will they break up these demonstrations?
Well, the Vice President has just said through the state news agency that these protests can't be tolerated for much longer. And then he warned we don't want to use police action. But we know perfectly well from what's just happened that if they try to do anything violent, this thing will get unacceptably ugly in a heartbeat.
Liz Palmer in Cairo tonight. Liz, thank you.